All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name's Lynn Stevens. I'm with ODOT's Division of Small Business and External Workforce Development. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join us here to get an update from our division. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. I would like to just start off. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, there's a Q&A box on the top right of your screen. Just click on that and you can type your question in, and we will monitor that throughout the webinar and we'll answer them at the end. On the screen now, you'll see we have a webinar series for 2026, or our Ohio Transportation Symposium series, and we have them divided into business development webinars and workforce development webinars. The link at the top of the page will work to get you to there, and you'll see the remaining topics we have. You'll also see recordings from our previous topics as well. The QR code on the screen, or if you, when you get the PowerPoint, use the bigger QR code. We just underwent a web page update, so use that larger QR code to get to the listing and to the recordings. ODOT. ODOT, our mission is to provide a transportation system that is safe, accessible, well-maintained, and positioned for the future. As many of you know, on the webinar, ODOT supports our state highway system, and we are a more than $3 billion a year enterprise, and we invest the bulk of our resources into system preservation, maintenance, construction, and snow and ice operations. Our Small Business and External Workforce Development Division, we're a relatively new division here at ODOT. Our current Deputy Director is Ms. Deborah Green, and we have 3 offices in our division. The Office of Small Business Services, led by Jalita Stoltz. They handle all things related to the DBE and SBE certification, supporter services, on-the-job training, external workforce development, Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and ADA and Section 504 issues. Our Office of Contractor Compliance, led by Katie LaPlace. They deal with all things related to prevailing wage, certified payroll, prompt payment, setting our DBE, SBE edge goals on our projects, and all the reporting requirements for DBE and SBE, goal attainment, good faith efforts, and CUF, commercially useful function. Our third office is the Office of Outreach, led by myself, Lynn Stevens, and we are a liaison for those who are doing business with ODOT, seeking to do business with ODOT. We do lots and lots and lots of webinars and workshops, events, one-on-one meetings, and provide technical assistance, again, for those who are doing business with ODOT or seeking to do business with ODOT, and just help also connect you to resources that may be helpful to your small business. And as some of the consultants know, we also help monitor the DBE and EDGE development goals on our ODOT projects. In our outreach team, we have 4 outreach managers stationed throughout the state. Michelle Newman is in Northwest Ohio, serving districts 1, 2, and 3. Tony Gillespie, is our Southwest Ohio Regional Outreach Manager, serving ODOT Districts 7, 8, and 9. Lorraine Stevens is our Central and Southeast Regional Outreach Manager, serving Districts 5, 6, and 10. And Jennifer Christ is our Northeast Regional Outreach Manager, serving ODOT Districts 4, 11, and 12. Feel free to reach out anytime you can be of assistance. We are happy to help, and we are here to help serve you. So, thank you. Today's webinar presenters will be 2 of our colleagues in our division, Amy Paas. She's a small business program manager with our Office of Small Business Services, and Katie LaPlace, as you saw on the previous slides, she's administrator for our Office of Contractor Compliance. So with that, we'll turn it over to Amy Paas. Amy, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, the attendees, and then feel free to start your presentation. So thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Amy Paas, and I am the Small Business Program Manager in the Office of Small Business Services at ODOT. I've been with ODOT for 8 years. I was a certification analyst, and then I became a certification specialist, which brought me to my current role. So I've been with the same department in all 8 years. And I just want to say thank you for having me today. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so we can focus on the presentation. Today, I'm going to be providing a brief update on the DBE interim final rule, the IFR, and ODOT's reevaluation of its DBEs, and an update on our small business program and research results, including next steps. Then concluding my presentation, Katie LaPlace will go over contractor compliance and goal attainment updates. DBE program interim final rule. Um, on October 3rd of 2025, ODOT issued an interim final rule that went into effect immediately, which removed the race and sex presumption from the DBE program to align with the U.S. Constitution. This rule puts the DBE program on pause to allow state DOTs to reevaluate their existing DBEs, which would include having each DBE submit a personal narrative statement that describes their social and economic disadvantage, that references specific economic hardships, systematic barriers, and denied opportunities. Considerations may include access to education, employment, or details on their business history. With the program on pause, ODOT cannot set DBE project goals or an overall new DBE goal until the reevaluation is complete. As of October 3rd, 2025, existing DBEs and new DBE applicants must prove social and economic disadvantage individually, not based on demographic categories. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the lawsuit where Mid-American Milling Company, also known as MAMCO, filed against USDOT and its DBE program a few years ago. On March 19, 2026, the federal court dismissed the case because the October 3rd IFR removed the race and sex-based presumptions. Next slide. Our database of DBEs started at over 1,700 firms, with 967 of those firms being Ohio-based firms. The 1,700 number includes in and out-of-state firms that were certified DBEs in Ohio. We're in the process of decertifying the over 750 out-of-state firms as required by the interim final rule. The out-of-state firms will need to reapply once certified in their home state. In terms of the reevaluation, we have received over 95 personal narratives for existing DBE firms, but we have also received 59 for new applications. The reevaluation approach that we're taking has been more moderate compared to most states. We started accepting personal narratives early, where some states just opened their reevaluation. However, some states that just opened have tight timelines for getting the information in. We do not have a deadline or a target date at this point in time. We have really been prioritizing customer service throughout our whole process. We also have the SBE program and SBE goals to lean on during the reevaluation process. As I stated, one of our top priorities has been provide above and beyond customer service and communication to our small businesses. One way we are accomplishing this is by holding regional personal narrative workshops each month. These workshops are hosted by our regional outreach managers. This allows businesses to come in and learn about the personal narrative requirements and also ask questions. I've included the link above. It's the top link to our personal narrative workshop schedule. Part of the reason these workshops have been so nice is that once the outreach manager closes their presentation, they start doing one-on-ones with the firms present. What outreach has found is that while they meet with a firm, the other firms attending spend time networking, talking, and even brainstorming their personal narratives. The last link that is on the slide is for the personal narrative guidance that we published, which helps firms outline their narrative and hopefully avoid missing key parts that are necessary for their narrative. The outreach team also conducts one-on-one discussions with business owners as requested by the firms. The next few slides are about key information. Right now, ODOT is actively working to restore the DBE program, and the recertification process is well underway. At this time, we are continuing to review submitted materials and move the reviews forward as thoroughly and efficiently as possible. We will share updates as they become available. We are also still accepting new DBE applications, but all decisions are delayed currently because of the IFR. Because each personal narrative requires an individualized assessment, the review process is detailed and time intensive. We do appreciate everyone's patience and will continue to provide updates as we progress. Our priority in this is to ensure a fair, consistent, and compliant review for every firm. In order to submit your reevaluation materials, you would submit your personal narrative and updated personal net worth statement along with supporting documents to the BGG Now portal under the tab 2025 reevaluation. You would log into the BGG Now portal and follow the instructions for uploading your personal narrative, P&W, and the supporting documents. And as always, if you have questions in this, you can always contact the regional outreach manager who can meet with you one-on-one and walk you through the process. And as I previously mentioned, the outreach managers are conducting the personal narrative workshops, and they offer free one-on-one guidance regarding information that should be included in your personal narrative statement. And then at this time, there is no target date to submit personal narratives. We're looking into setting a target date in the future, but as of right now, nothing has been set on that. I also want to add that if a target date is set and a firm would happen to miss that, that does not mean the firm will lose the opportunity to submit at a later time or be decertified. Ultimately, all firms that do not submit will be removed from the list of active DBEs until they do submit their personal narrative and their updated P&W statement. As far as interstate applications go, Ohio is currently evaluating its existing in-state firms under the new rules. While this internal process is underway, we have paused all interstate applications and will not reopen them until all the in-state firms are evaluated. Once Ohio has completed its internal reevaluations, B2G Now will open the applications for interstate certification in Ohio. We do not anticipate reopening interstate applications by the end of 2026, given the number of in-state reevaluations we have received so far. Next slide. Okay. At this time, Ohio is not issuing decisions on personal narratives. The committee is actively evaluating personal narrative submissions, and no decision letters have been released at this time. We are ensuring that our decisions are aligning with the federal regulations. We want to be absolutely certain that we are following the IFR and that our decisions are fully compliant with that. We will share updates as soon as we are ready to begin issuing decisions, and we appreciate everyone's patience as we work through this process. The updates will be posted either on our website, in our newsletter, by email, or by use of all three. All right, so that's what I have for the DBE program. Now we're going to move into discussing our small business program. Currently, we have 1,152 SBE certified firms in Ohio. We also have 43 new applications that are in process. The current SBE eligibility requirements for construction consultants and construction firms. Construction consulting firms must have an annual gross receipts of less than 12.75 million, which is averaged over the previous 5 years. Construction firms must have annual gross receipts of less than 22.5 million, averages over the previous 5 years. The owners must have a personal net worth of less than 2.047 million. The firm must be 51% owned and controlled by economically disadvantaged persons. The program is race and sex neutral, meaning it's based only on size and wealth of the owners. Race and sex are not considered for the SBE program. Finally, our SBE program does not require a personal narrative. Um, so the SBE research, you probably heard about our SBE research project that just recently concluded in February. The research was conducted by BBC Research and Consulting. The purpose of the research was to assess the effectiveness of our SBE program and to receive recommendations for improvement. BBC analyzed Ohio's transportation-related small business marketplace and ODOT's SBE program since its inception back in 2015. The research examined key elements of our program design, implementation, and operations. BBC also analyzed our policies, conducted small business surveys, and stakeholder engagement to identify priority areas for refinement and improvement. There were also several recommendations that Ohio will consider as it finalizes our implementation plan. These recommendations range from simplifying the certification process to revamping the mentor protege program to creating certification tiers, allowing ODOT to support the smallest businesses in doing ODOT work. The ultimate goal of the research was to identify ways to ultimately increase competition for our small businesses and help build capacity, bringing more small businesses into the fold. I've linked the final report and the fact sheet here, and it can be found on our website. Over the last 2 years, we've also been conducting a research study, which has now been finalized. We are waiting for the publication on our website, but that will come soon. The study examined local and national data to identify best practices and recommendations for the program. In this study, they examined the SBA size standards, compared them with ODOT's SBE size standards. One big thing that we've learned is that our program is actually quite large compared to the dollar value of firms in Ohio. The majority of heavy highway construction firms have revenues of 8 million and under. Our current program covers over 90% of businesses in Ohio. The most important piece of data I wanted to share with you today was the size of the firms that do business in Ohio compared to our size standards and the SBA size standard. As you can see from this chart, 91% of all businesses in Ohio that do consulting work fall under the ODOT size standard of the under 12.75 million. And if we mirrored the SBA limit, 96% would fall under that limit. And then improving the SBE program. We are going through BBC's recommendations and have been talking to the industry for feedback in order to determine what's feasible and how we want to tailor the program in the future. In the meantime, we are doing a few other things to improve the SBE program, including adding a field to the directory indicating which counties the SBE works in, and also creating custom work types based on pre-qualification work types. Currently, our SBE firms do not use NICS codes. The custom work types would be based on ODOT's pre-qualification work type. The custom work types will not only help with goal setting, but it will also help SBEs market their firms and help primes more easily narrow down which firms they should try to connect with. It'll probably be a few more months before the work types are added. And then that is all I have, so I will turn it over to Katie LaPlace.
And Katie, if you could just tell our audience members a little bit about yourself, and appreciate you joining us today. Thank you.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. As Lynn stated, my name is Katie LaPlace. I am the administrator for the Office of Civil Rights. Oh, used to be Civil Rights Compliance. Sorry. Office of Contractor Compliance. Under my office is 16 contractor compliance officers stationed throughout the state, 3 compliance managers, and then 1 goal attainment manager and 2 goal attainment coordinators. So our office handles everything Davis-Bacon related, commercially useful function, prevailing wage, prompt payment, and then all aspects of goal attainment. And Jennifer, you can go ahead. Oh, thank you. So Amy kind of went over this a little bit, but I will go at it from our perspective and goal attainment. We are hoping at least by mid 2027 to have the DBE program up and running. There's no tentative date, and we will certainly educate everyone on those efforts. But even once the certification team within our division is done certifying the new DBEs, there's a lot that goes into setting the new DBE goal, working with FHWA to get that goal set, and then getting to the point where we can start setting DBE goals on our projects again. One of the questions we received is, kind of where we are leaning towards with our goals. And the answer to that is even when the DBE program is up, back and running, we will continue setting SBE goals on projects. So we will set SBE goals and DBE goals, but never DBE and SBE on one project. So we are fortunate to have the SBE program that we were able to pivot fully to when the IFR came on, came out in October of 2025. So yes, even moving forward and when the DBE program is back up and running, we will be setting both. Jennifer, next slide, please. We go to the next. Oh. So a recent update is that we can provide is PN 70, which was instituted in legislation and pretty much requires construction employers to verify you can read the PN, but compliance with the Verify Workforce Integrity Act must at all times comply with the provisions of the state of Ohio's E-Verify Workforce. So this came out, became effective, I think earlier this year, and we instituted a PN 70 to pass that along contractually. The key takeaways from kind of what Amy and I have collaborated on is, the race and sex presumption has been removed from the DBE requirements. Personal narratives are now required for DBEs wanting to move forward with the program. The SBE program is still on pause until reevaluation is complete. SBE goals are being set on federally funded projects and have been since the fall of 2025. And then SBE set-asides will continue, which is also a wonderful program that our districts run. And then if your company has any gross receipts within, these dollar thresholds, please reach out to an outreach manager, and they can help you, look into becoming SBE certified. And then stay out, be on the lookout. We do our very best to communicate out a wide net when we have updates. And so those will be forthcoming, and we look forward to, getting the DBE program back up and running next year.
Okay, great. Awesome. So you have the contact information for Amy and Katie on screen. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to just click on Q&A on the top right corner of your computers, and we'll go ahead and start the Q&A session. I think to get us started, I do have a question that Outreach has heard, and maybe you've heard as well. Will ODOT have SBE goals and DBE goals on projects when the DBE program is back up and running, or will the SBE goals end once the DBE program is back up and running?
Yeah, the DBE goals will once the DBE program is back up and running, there will be DBE goals, and the goal setting committee will also be evaluating projects for SBE goals as well. But you will never see a project that has an SBE and a DBE goal. It will be one or the other. But SBE will continue.
Great, great, great. See, another question we get periodically. If a DBE has a question regarding their contract for an ODOT project with a DBE goal that started before October 3rd, who should they reach out to for assistance if they have a question of they're not being used yet on that project?
Sure. You can reach out to me and I will get you to the appropriate staff member. Yeah, and the expectation is that if a prime got a bid based on listing a DBE at bid time, that those commitments need to be honored. And that is, an expectation of ours unless a termination for just cause is filed. So if you have questions about where you are on your contract or have any issues with that, please reach out to me and we will look into it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions pending? Don't see any. Okay. Uh, well, let's see. Oh, Amy, did you clarify if ODOT is accepting interstate DBE applications right now? I think you
We are
did clarify
not.
that. Okay, alrighty.
No,
And
not until we get done reevaluating all of our in-state.
okay, okay. All right, so we have some more questions that have come in. Alrighty. Uh, in the Q&A, if you could read one, Amanda, or because my computer is not cooperating right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
How
Okay.
do how do we know if we have been contacted to send in our personal narrative?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Yeah, it says, how do we know if we have been contacted to send in our personal narrative?
Um, I mean, the personal narrative is like a requirement to get recertified for DBE. So, I mean, those have to be submitted by any DBE firm. So I guess I'm confused about the question.
Amy, do you want me to help?
Sure.
Once the IFR came out, our office and our communications department did a full force effort of letting people know about the changes in the IFR, DBE project, active projects, all of that. And along with that came, if you want to pursue staying a DBE or becoming a DBE under the new guidance, you would have to fill out the personal narrative. So that's your choice. If you would like to, seek that DBE certification again, you would need to do your personal narrative, reach out to the outreach managers, etc.
Amy, could they also check B2G now for any messages?
Yeah,
Is that
if
a
they've
place to
already
go to?
submitted the personal narrative, any messages from the analysts would be in the Q&A of the B2G Now system under their submission.
Okay, great. Okay. Amanda, would you mind reading the next question, please?
Yeah, not a problem. Just confirming, I set up my business in July of last year. I need to wait until the 1 year mark to apply for SBE, correct? Question mark.
No, there's not a timeline to submit as long as you're actively bidding on projects. You can submit the SBE application at any time.
And then the next question says, our renewal was submitted earlier this month. Is our SBE on hold until we receive our recertification document?
When you say you submitted the renewal, is that for SBE or DBE? If it was for SBE, we don't have a letter. They just get processed and it'll be updated on our B2G Now system.
Mhm. So if it was for a DBE renewal and it was submitted earlier this month, that does not put the SB on hold, right? Does not.
Yeah, no, it does not.
Okay.
Is there an update on renewing SBE certs? Is ODOT running behind on reviewing these also because of the influx in review for DBE? And then it says, can someone send us new links for the website? We have been receiving errors for all parts of the ODOT website since mid last week. Almost nothing is working.
Okay, I've been renewing or the analysts have been processing the SB renewals and then I've been approving them. So I'm pretty caught up with that right now. If you could reach out to me either by email or phone, I don't know if you want to show my slide again with my email address, but if you could reach out to me, I can try to help you out with that.
Okay, great.
And then as far as the website, real quick, we did have to switch over mid last week, as stated in the question. So we will try to get some new website links when we send out the PowerPoint slides.
Yes, thanks for that question. Exactly. We've started a list because we've been getting errors too as well. So yes, we will get you the updated links, like Katie said, to our website when we send out the PowerPoint and the video recording.
We
Okay.
have one more question that I see. Once personal narrative is submitted, will a decision not be released until all DBEs submit those personal narratives? And then is there a system in place for those firms who do not plan on submitting a personal narrative or not interested in becoming recertified?
So once the personnel data are submitted, we have not, like I said in the presentation, we have not started releasing the decisions at this time. We will let you guys know when we start to do that. But that process has not started because we're still trying to get through the reevaluation process. So that should be upcoming. And then for firms that do not plan on submitting a personal narrative, they can submit a withdrawal through B2G Now, withdrawing their DBE certification.
Wonderful.
That appears to be all of the questions.
Okay, great. Okay, and we'll probably send out the links to the website, yeah, before the recording's ready. So we'll do that, probably do a mass campaign through B2G Now to send out to all of our DBE, SBE firms. Sorry about that. But yeah, they're working on fixing links as we speak, so appreciate that. Um, no more questions right now. If you have any questions, though, feel free to reach out to Amy, Katie, or your outreach manager, and we'll be happy to help you. Just in closing, we appreciate you attending today again, spending part of your day with us. Our next webinar will be held on July the 7th, and the topic will be soft skills in the workforce, the untapped power to make or break your team. So we're going to delve into essential human elements that drive collaboration, productivity, and employee retention for the construction, heavy highway industry, or any industry. So hopefully you'll be able to join us again. Christy Engler, who's an HR consultant with New Day HR LLC, will be the speaker. And our colleague Micah Flanagan, who's our supportive services manager and also oversees many of our workforce development initiatives and programs. So we appreciate everyone attending. Thank you so very much. Look out for an email with the recording and then also the PowerPoint and also a message through B2G Now with our new links for our website. Again, they'll be corrected and updated soon, but thank you. Thank you once again. Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Bye.